The first thing I'm going to say is that the naysayers that say that you can't get a convincing, nice tone out of a DI guitar with an amp simulator simply haven't tried, or are just the type of people that just get off by telling people that they can't do things. I have a vintage Fender amp over here that I do use sometimes. I also do use Amplitube. I've used some of the native amp simulators inside of Cubase, as well as the GTR by Waves. I have my personal preference, which would be Amplitube, but somebody that knows what they're doing can get nice results with any one of these options. Now, I can say also that once you start layering in all of those instruments, all of those different tracks, it's really difficult, if not impossible, to tell the difference between something that was recorded with a DI guitar and something that was with a mic'd amplifier. I'm also going to say that if you really want to help the computer warm up your signal and get closer to what sounds like a actual tube saturation, the MPA Pro is perfect for it, and that's what I'm going to be illustrating today. So what I like to use my Pro MPA most for when it comes to DIs is for my any sort of electric guitar that I'm going to DI and run through an amp simulator, such as Amplitube. Amplitube, in my opinion, is an excellent piece of equipment. I have never had a problem with getting an authentic sounding Fender amp out of it. I have a 65 Super Reverb that I use sometimes when I'm performing. I have recorded with it as well. But if I'm talking about a session where I want to get something out fast, get it done, and not have to fool around with microphones and so forth, I always get a great result out of it. Now, the only time I probably would definitely mic up the amp would be if I were doing a very sparse arrangement, like a vocal with an electric guitar. But if I'm going to be doing a track, like a typical rock track, 24 tracks or 40 tracks, no one is really going to be able to tell the difference between an original vintage 1965 amp that was used on the track and something that was done with software that was done well. So here I have, you can see the settings that I have for my MPA. If I'm not really looking to saturate it too much, this is pretty much where you're going to get it. If you look at the gain knob right here, I have it down pretty low, and the master output level, over 2 knobs, is up pretty high, somewhere between 2 and 3 o'clock. With a setting like this, you're not going to really saturate the tubes very much, and let's just give it a listen. All right, now let's get some actual saturation in it. All right, now let's overdrive it all the way. As you can see, there's just basically 3 settings right there. If I were to really have not run it through the preamp at all, or if I had set it, let's say, through the DI on my Apollo Twin, you'd probably get a sound that was closer to the very first one. If what you're looking for is something that's a little bit somewhere between the first and the second, or the second and the third, basically you just play with it to taste. Each track calls for something different. I would never find the tone in isolation the way I am right here. Normally it would be something like set up the drums, set up the entire track, and then set the preamp to taste. Again, this is Frank at thelittleredlight.com, and I look forward to any of your questions. I know a lot of you have a lot of questions about this piece in particular. The overview that I did of the Pro MPA II is, up until now, the video that I've gotten the most views on. I encourage you to check it out. If you have any cool things and tricks that you may be doing with this piece, I'd love to hear about it as well. So drop me a message, a comment here in the YouTube channel. Be sure as well to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.